Every time contraband gets found in prison, the comments go feral. It was the screws. Search the officers. They're all bent. And listen, yeah, I get it. Officers have been caught. Phones, drugs, tobacco, SIM cards, weapons, relationship with prisoners, the lot. But I'm not here to defend corrupt officers. If you brought stuff into prison, you've betrayed everyone. But here's the bit that people keep missing. The dangerous one is not always the officer with keys. Sometimes it's the person nobody's looking at, that one everyone trusts, the one prisoners worked out way before security did. Because contraband is not just an officer problem, it's an access problem. And you've got healthcare, education, admin, cleaners in the prison, maintenance, kitchen staff, contractors, managers, visits, deliveries. Prisons are full of people and routes moving in and out every single day. So, why do we only ever talk about officers? Why do people assume the uniform is the only risk? And what happens when person being used doesn't even think security applies to them? Because prisoners are not daft, they are watching. Who's nervous? Who's a bit too friendly? Who wants to be liked? Who talks too much? Who complains about money? Who's having relationship problems? Who thinks the rules don't apply because they are not security? That is precisely the person who gets tested. And it never starts with a massive parcel of drugs. It starts tiny. Just a conversation, a compliment, a sob story. You're the only one who treats me like a human. You actually listen. You're not like the others. I just need to get a message to my mum. I'm being bullied. I owe money. And suddenly that member of staff feels special, helpful, different to everyone else. Like, the rules are just really dramatic. But ask yourself this: if it's only one harmless message, why do they need staff to pass it? Why not use the proper channels? Why does it have to be a secret? And why does it have to be you? And that right there is a red flag number one. And yes, some prison rules do sound ridiculous. You might ask, why can't I pass one harmless message? Because this is prison. The message might not be, tell my mum I love her. It might be, move the package. Mum, please pay the debt. Mum, don't come to court. Mum, change your statement. Tell my brother where he lives. That's why the rules exist. Not because prison wants to personally ruin everybody's day and piss in everyone's cereal. Although sometimes it does feel like the system wakes up and just chooses violence. But because one tiny favour can become a massive problem. Once that first line is crossed, they have you. Now, the next favour is not a request. It's pressure, then threats, then blackmail, then your panic. And that's the bit that people don't get. Corrupt staff are not always walking around prisons like gangsters. Some are groomed, trapped, very, very desperate, or very arrogant. Some are just plain stupid. And some know exactly what they are doing. But the result is the same. A phone lands on a wing, and everyone says, well, it's just a phone. No, it isn't. A prison phone can run a drug line, threaten witnesses, contact victims, organize debt, record staff, arrange violence, criminal networks moving from behind the wall. Drug lands on the wing, and people say it's only a tiny bit of weed. Until someone drops, until someone owes money, until someone's family outside gets threatened, until someone gets battered over debt, until staff are running code blues, until the wing is locked down and everyone pays for it. So here's my question. At what point does being kind become being used? At what point does helping become corruption? And what do you think? How many people spot the signs but say nothing because they don't want to start the drama? They don't want to get involved. Because that is not kindness. It's not helping. It's not being the person who understands. It's just throwing petrol into a prison and acting shocked when it catches fire. And yes, officers who do it deserve every bit of criticism that's coming their way. They betray the uniform, they betray good staff, they make every decent officer look dirty. But this is way bigger than officers. Civilian staff are used, contractors are used, healthcare, education, admin, management. Anyone with access can be used because corruption doesn't care about your job title on your little lanyard. It cares what you can get through the gate. And management are not magically above this either. Sometimes the weak point is not person carrying the bag. Sometimes it's the culture around them. Nobody checking, nobody challenging, nobody recording concerns or checking up on done reports. Nobody wanting the hassle. Everyone's saying, yeah, that's a bit weird. We all know what he's doing. And then doing absolutely nothing. That's how those gaps grow. And contraband loves gaps. One unchecked bag, one ignored rumour, one over-friendly relationship, one manager too awkward to challenge, one member of staff thinking, I'm only here 2 hours on a Tuesday with my folder and packed lunch. This isn't about me. Yes, it is. And no, Karen, nobody's accusing you cheese sandwich of organised crime. But if things can come in and out without a challenge, that is a route. And routes get used. So next time contraband gets found, don't just ask, which officer was it? Ask, who had access? Ask who got too close. Ask who was suddenly trusted too much. Ask who everyone liked too much to challenge. Ask who made people think, no, surely not them. Because that is the uncomfortable bit. It might not be officers everyone already suspects or just don't like because they act like a prick. It might be the civilian staff member everyone smiles at in the morning. The manager everyone has a cup of tea with. The contractor who's been coming in for years. The person who always seems lovely. The one who knows everyone. The one nobody wants to question because it would feel really awkward. And that is exactly why they are so dangerous. And not because everyone is corrupt, but because the easiest route is often the one nobody wants to look at. Contraband is not just an officer problem, it's an access problem. And in prison, access is everything. And before I wrap this up, hi, my name is Dagna, and I was a prison officer in the UK for 6 years. I've stood on the inside of the system and I've seen what the headlines miss. This is Inside Out Justice. It's where we say the quiet parts out loud.